Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
So watching Prime Morning. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone prepare for you. Whatever gadgets you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, we say worry no more, we have got you covered. You can actually download the app on your phone to make things very simple, which is the Franco Trading app. For further inquiries, visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone prepare for you. You're still locked on to the best morning show ever. Now, I say the best morning show because nobody can come close to us, and we make sure we give you a great start to your day. My name is Roslyn Felly, and we are going to do what the newspapers have for us today. But before that, I have my first guest with me, and so let me introduce him to you. He's in the person of Mahama Jinapor, who is a youth and civil rights activist. He's here this morning. Good morning, Mahama.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing quite well.
Great.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for coming in as well.
Thank you.
Right. And so you say you are a youth and civil rights activist, right? Yes. Tell me how it all started for you. How did you become one?
So for me, it started with students and being in school. It started with student leadership. And in that particular field, it's quite precarious because students have a wide array of demands, of little bits and problems that take away from their focus, that take away from their focus in school. So I stood in for some of that, for some of these students.
Okay.
And it's been going well so far. My career has not been quite as interesting because it's been very short. But
if you say very short, how long is short?
So perhaps a year or two.
A year, okay.
Yes, and most of the time I've been in school as well, so most of my activism has been focused on students.
Okay.
But I don't want to limit myself by calling myself a student activist. That puts you in a box.
Yeah.
And that's not what I am. I do stand for the youth, and I want to see, as much as possible, the right thing is done, following lawful procedure.
Fantastic. That's great. And thank you so much for being an activist for the youth and civil rights as well. So we'll definitely be delving into the conversations because one particular one that is coming in from the Republic Press newspaper, that's the newspaper I'm starting with, Republic Press, OSP AG under pressure as government's anti-corruption credibility wanes. NPP rubbishes $280,000 PR contract from anti-Mahama smear campaign. Now, this morning I chanced on this story. So let me start with the OSP AG under pressure as government's anti-corruption credibility wanes. Let me read a bit on it, and then I can take your view on it. Let me see what page we can find this. Yeah. The government's anti-corruption efforts are increasingly being called into question as both the Attorney General, Dr. Adom-Otchere, and the Special Prosecutor, Kisi Ejabing, face mounting public criticism for what many describe as a lack of progress in prosecuting high-profile corruption cases. While public expectations were high following the NDC's return to power on a campaign heavily focused on transparency and accountability, recent developments suggest a widening gap between rhetoric and results. Supporters and civil society groups alike are expressing disappointment over the slow pace of action and the perceived lack of political will to confront corruption head-on. Attorney General Adom-Otchere has been accused of spearheading efforts that appear more focused on clearing certain politically connected individuals than on delivering justice. Legal observers and critics argue that several questionable decisions and legal maneuvers have contributed to the perception that the justice system is being used to shield rather than prosecute. And I'm excited that you're here. So I'm going to have to let you be a part of this particular one because it is also coming from civil rights groups. It's not coming from just the general public. But talking about that, what do you think? Do you agree?
Yes, in fact, I do. The office of the OSP recently has become some type of a content mill. Every single day we see pictures and videos of the OSP doing this or doing that, putting people under arrest in certain Rambo styles. essentially. And yet we don't see the prosecution from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, particularly also with the Attorney General. When we see cases involving the Attorney General, we see mostly some of these oral cases where we're supposed to have a full recovery of what was supposedly looted by the previous government, and yet we are seeing instances where it is, pay some and then recover some and then they keep the rest and all of that. Particularly over the weekend, the OSP, I'm sure it's in the news anyway, over the weekend we saw certain movements of the OSP regarding the former board chair for the Ghana Airport Company Limited, the Honorable Adom-Otchere. We saw his arrest, we saw his release. We are yet to see any charges, we are yet to see any prosecutions. And the Attorney General essentially, and the OSP
Well, the OSP
together,
says that it's still under investigation.
Well, certainly so, but the OSP has certainly become a content mill and sort of a toothless bulldog.
That's what you think it is?
That's what I think, honestly. Yeah.
So it's not him fighting corruption?
No, absolutely not. He has been given quite a wide margin by the act that establishes his office and gives him his mandate. If you look at it, he has quite a wide range of, powers with which he can actually conduct investigations that are corruption related. But we've not seen so far some of these. We've not even seen the investigations. We just see the arrests and we see nothing else.
Right.
And we see letters on social media.
How do you want to see the investigation happen? Because when it comes to investigation, it's the body that does the investigations, and
but
the
we can see the reports.
When we will get to know.
But we can see some of the reports.
Right.
I don't believe that the OSP is supposed to do all of his work in secret. He's working for the Ghanaian people, and so if there's something to investigate, he should inform us. After the investigations, he can put out reports. He has the decision to not prosecute, and certainly he has the right to exercise that decision.
You don't think there's anything to investigate? You said if there's something to investigate, you should tell us, because when we follow the story, there is something to investigate.
Yeah.
That's what OSP told us. They told us why the arrest was made.
Yes, but you see, the OSP, by the act that establishes him, once again, is given the powers of the police, the Ghana Police Service. And when the police service comes for you, there's a procedure that they're expected to follow. My question is the OSP expected to follow the same procedure when they're effecting the arrest? Are they supposed to tell you the charges for which you're being arrested and all of that, A lot of mysticism has surrounded the procedure. Whether you I don't know how to say it, if you pay attention to the story itself, yes, some information has been given, but a lot of the information is in the dark. And I'm saying that the Ghanaian people could do with just a little bit more of that information. It will put our hearts to rest a bit better.
Okay. Thank you so much. And Nuong Falong has also joined us, and she's part of the communications team for the NDC. Good morning, Nuong.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I hope you had a good weekend, including the gentleman who is being had on the OSP.
OSP this morning. He's a youth and a civil rights activist, so he speaks for the people. Yeah. And he feels that the OSP and the Attorney General, they are not being, what did you say again? They are not...
well, I call them toothless bulldogs. But
you call them the toothless bulldogs?
Yes, all they do is bark, but we don't see any action.
So the arrest is not enough action for you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. And Nuong, we are treating OSP under pressure because we hear that some civil rights group, they are also saying the same thing, that looking at what's happening, the OSP and the Attorney General are actually acquitting certain politically inclined companies and arresting those that are not a part of that political group. And so it comes off like a witch hunt in a way.
I think that, anyway, before I go into that, I want to say good morning to all my comrades who are watching, especially the people of the Upper West region and Laura, my constituency. And to congratulate all the appointees who put in so much work so far to stabilize the ailing economy that was inherited by the NDC government and is bringing hope and improvement upon the lives of many Ghanaians. I'm sure you also feel the improvement.
Well, we are seeing.
Debatable. Yeah, I mean, people have different spending patterns, right? So some will feel it more than others will feel it. Let's come back to this issue of the OSP. I think that criticism is welcome. Contributions from the general public on what they want to see, how things should be done, is very welcome. Don't forget that the NDC government, one of the things we campaigned on was oral, recovering the loot and the corruption that had gone on in the past 8 years. And so it is understandable that people expect results. Results do not happen overnight. The gentleman says that you want to see prosecutions and all. It starts from somewhere. It starts from inviting these persons. It starts from the arrest. It starts from asking these persons of interest and accused persons to come in and be investigated, to answer questions, to make the investigations clearer so that arrest and prosecutions can happen. Now, if every time someone is arrested, don't forget that everyone has their loved ones, their friends, their family members who will get up and support them and defend them. There's a popular saying that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. So it's not surprising that we see so much heckling, so much pushback. What we need to ask ourselves, are these persons interrogating from a selfless stand, from a stand that puts Ghana first, or they are interrogating from a point that puts themselves first? Because I have seen the tendency for people to just support and defend anyone, especially because the Attorney General is prosecuting the person. They do not support that ideology, or they do not support the NDC, and so they are quick to make all sorts of accusations. Now, if the Attorney General or the OSP invites someone, if he comes to arrest you, people will ask questions. He has to answer. He has to give some explanation. I do not see how that is in any way untoward. He is following due process. We also have to ask ourselves, has he done anything illegal? Has the OSP done anything illegal that doesn't fall within his mandate? It is in this country that we created the Office of the Special Prosecutor and gave him the mandates that he has to go after perceived people that he thinks have committed crime. He has to investigate them before he establishes that crime and then prosecutes them. It starts from somewhere. The court process can be long. It is not going to happen in a rushed manner, because also you do not want to make a mistake, in prosecuting people. People have rights which you have to follow. In the case of Paul Adom-Otchere, I think there's been a deliberate narrative to make the OSP look like he's witch hunting. Paul Adom-Otchere and his associates have been on that tangent even before now, and it has been consistent. I have no idea what his issue is with the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
You say that tangent. Sorry to interrupt, but when you say that tangent, you said they've been on that tangent.
I'll bring you in so that you can ask your questions. Let her
I said there's been a narrative.
Yes.
To make it look like the Special Prosecutor is on a witch hunt.
Only in the specific case of Paul Adom-Otchere?
No,
Not even before that case. That's why I'm saying Paul himself is on record to have said so many things against the Special Prosecutor.
But that doesn't
even before
wait, Mahama, please let...
No, he didn't come for him for that reason.
Yes.
Yes,
Mahama,
I think... Yes, exactly why you should honestly should let me land.
Yeah.
Look, the Special Prosecutor, we need to get our facts right. He didn't come for Paul because of what Paul has said against him in the past.
Yeah.
He came at him for a specific... There was a specific incident. And if you let me just go over it, we have had reason. The Special Prosecutor has outlined the reasons why he invited Paul Adom-Otchere, right? And it's simple. The SML story at the Kotoka International Airport. We all know that Paul Adom-Otchere was what? The board chair, right? 3 days before December 2024 election, the Ghana Airport Company Limited awarded a revenue assurance contract to Evertex Logistics Limited.
Certainly.
There's conditions under which this contract was awarded are under question. We want to understand why there was no valid procurement procedure in the awarding of this contract. And in some instances, suspected sole sourcing. So it's the Special Prosecutor not justified to invite persons of interest where procurement breaches have occurred to question them.
This is where Paul questioned that why is it that management is still walking around when he, Paul, has been invited? Because he was board chairman. That was a question that he posed out there. But what do you think?
I don't think it's only Paul who is going to be invited.
There were two others, though. But
who will also be questioned by the Special Prosecutor. It is just Paul's questioning that has become some kind of spectacle, some kind of circus by persons who wish to skew the narrative, which is false. Are you telling me that if we suspect someone of any crime, how is this country going to move out of the corrupt practices we have seen if we are prevented from simply questioning people who are suspected to have committed crime? There's nothing wrong with it. When we do that, then we are literally telling the special prosecutor not to do his job.
And
we are telling the Attorney General. This is the instance
of Paul Adom-Otchere, but for this particular story that we're reading, it's about also...
and when you go into the Senate records, even that Evertex company has only one worker on record.
Been cancelled.
Exactly.
As a standard, it's been cancelled.
And if that contract was genuine, why has it been cancelled? The moment the special prosecutor started investigating, the contract has been cancelled. We should be able to ask ourselves certain questions, regardless of our sentiments and our affiliations.
Let me bring Mahama. Mahama, so what it is that I really want to finish with the newspapers. Yeah. But what we were discussing was to do with the OSP and Attorney General under pressure because people feel that what they are doing is more of a witch hunt. We'll delve into that more, but I just want to finish off with what the newspapers are reported. Lumba honored in grand style as thousands hold candlelight vigil at Independence Square. High Court position on judicial review application by Chief Justice, a dangerously untenable position or evidence of coming dark clouds. IGP orders probe as police deny alleged raid on NPP Bono East chairman's house, and police gunned down 2 robbery suspects in shootout at Atebubu. This NPP rubbish in $280,000 PR contract, I believe that definitely the company will tell us more, and NPP will also tell us more. So coming days, we'll hear more about that particular story. Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper next. The Daily Graphic, 2025 WASI starts today. 461,640 candidates sit examination, and we wish them the very best. Greater Works 2025 opens today. I'm excited about it. I've promised them that I'll be there, so I'll be there this week. Agric future at risk. Best farmer sounds alarm. GPHA reverses staff promotions. A decision follows irregularities. Kevin Taylor faces 2.95 million Ghana cedis defamation judgment debt, and government wants a badge on ultimatum to DSTV. Communications Minister says so. And listen, if you are a DSTV subscriber, this is a time where you get excited because your communications minister is working for you. Trust me on this one. Imagine a Nigerian company comes to Ghana and the government says, reduce your price, and they say, we won't reduce the price. Hey, who are you? How dare you? Anyway, the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper is the next newspaper. NPP denies ties to Ukrainian PR firm. And like I said, I know that tomorrow the story will be big. It will blow out everywhere. Belmia calls for state burial for Lumba. Zoom Lion, Kenya seal waste deal. And fake forest rates hurting traders, a minority leader to government. That will be it for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The next newspaper is the Daily Democrat newspaper. Nutri-Foods recall Tasty Tom tomato mix over safety concerns. Please, if you have any of that in your house, please get rid of it now. If you can, take it back to the company. If you can't take it back to the company, unfortunately, you'll have to just get rid of it because at this point, it could be poisonous to your health. Mahama Jinapor landmark summit on Africa's health sovereignty in Accra. Kofi Anum family reclaims land from Rajimanuel Gray after 33-year dispute. Wow. And Hassa says it's not easy, but as well. Stop wasting patients' time unnecessary at hospitals. Akando wants health workers. Thank you so much for this warning. And I'm hoping that it won't just be in front of the newspapers, but rather we'll see action to it, because you can imagine you go to the hospital at 8 a.m. and you are leaving the hospital at 5 p.m. I mean, by the time that you are leaving, your health has deteriorated. That's how bad it is. Because the fact that you're even sitting down for that long hours could worsen the case. I remember my daughter was sick. I took her to the hospital. She was about 3 years old, went to the hospital. We're there at 8 a.m. As of 2 p.m., they still hadn't seen us. And I went to the nurse and I said, we've been here since 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The nurse looked at me and said, and I said, oh, wow, you think I would have wasted my time to be here all this while? And that is what is happening in our hospital. So I'm happy that the minister is warning the health workers, and I hope that it's not just going to be a say, but it's going to be an action. Thank you so much, Mr. Minister, for this. Births and deaths target reforms for records overhaul, and BMC accused Angela List in land guard attacks. That'll be it for the Daily Democrat. You said no, it happened.
No,
she's 17 now. I mean, when it happened, she was 3 years.
Yeah, it's a rather unfortunate reaction from the health worker. Yeah. Because just because she's playing around, honestly, you can't say she's not well. Yeah. Children, even when they are sick, they are playing.
And I said the same thing to her. I said, so, and I'm telling you, this is happening. It is happening. Not once, not twice. It's happening to so many people. They go to the hospital. They don't see to them. Some of them even die, while in wait. Sad. The Ghanaian Times newspaper is our final newspaper. The Ghanaian Times, Daddy Lumba reigns in death. Thousands honor him with vigil across country. And this story, Isidro will be bringing it to you during Trends. AU honors Eric Opoku for agricultural transformation. No plan to deport Nigerians. President has assured Nigerians. And that will be it for the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Okay, so now we can delve deeper into what we're talking about. And yes, Mahama, you wanted to take a bite of.
Yes, indeed, I did.
Go ahead.
And it's quite a big bite, I have to say. The office of the OSP, if you look at the way it has been set up, in my opinion, there has to be some regulatory reformation in the office of the OSP. First of all, I don't believe that the OSP should be given the full powers of the Ghana Police Service. And in the case that they are actually given the power.
What's your reason?
I would say that it brings the whole constitution into question. The Ghana Police Service is a member of the Ghana Armed Forces Council, right? And so what happens when the OSP's office has been given the full powers of the Ghana Police Service? Are they a member of the Ghana Armed Forces? Should they have a seat at the Armed Forces Council? Because they exercise full police powers, right? When they are effecting arrests or doing investigations, are they bound by the same procedural limitations that the police would be? You understand? I think that the OSP should conduct investigations into corruption and then should call the police when arrests are necessary or when they need to effect an arrest or detain somebody. That's number one. Number two, the OSP's letters are invitations. They say that, you come and then we'll have an investigation or it's an interrogation. We need to have a conversation. And before you know it, the person has been detained. An invitation is not a search warrant. The police has to give you a search warrant. And whilst they are arresting you, they have to tell you what you are being arrested for. They have to give you the charges. Have we seen any of this happen in the recent arrest that the OSP has made?
Yes.
They just, sometimes they just invite you.
Which
like
one?
In the case of Paul Adom-Otchere.
Paul was told.
He was invited.
No, he was told why he was invited.
Yes, but that is not a search warrant.
No, a search warrant.
No, sorry. It's not an arrest warrant. It's not an arrest warrant.
Yes,
no, it's not search.
So if I invite you
to a conversation,
I can invite you to a conversation, and upon investigation or upon interrogation, I can decide to arrest you because of what I picked up.
Arbitrarily, I don't think that's the proper police procedure.
But that's how it happens.
No, I refuse to believe. Yeah, it happens doesn't mean it is
so
correct and we should accept.
So what's the proper procedure?
No, that is not.
Don't forget that you were invited to get more information on a specific issue.
Yes.
In the course of interrogation, if I realize that you are more,
I can arrest.
You need to give me an arrest warrant.
And he was not
before you arrest me. That is the law in Ghana, unless we are living in a different country. You have to give me an arrest warrant.
Let me pull out the
police. If the police suspects that you are, guilty of a crime to the point where there is no investigation, certainly they can arrest you. But this is paperwork matter. You understand? If you have invited me to your premises, to have a conversation, you should allow me to leave that premise. You should give me an arrest warrant, and then you should pick me up. That is the proper police procedure.
Let me just refer you to what the law says.
Please.
Office of the Special Prosecutor, Act 2017, Act 957. You see, I am actually thankful that the Office of the Special Prosecutor wasn't set up by the NDC, because then the accusations would be that would even be higher. Exactly, because if they're already accusing us.
Let me say what it says here. Now, in Ghana, and I'm going to say this because we are talking about the Office of the Special Prosecutor that has the powers of the police service. Thank you. In Ghana, police officers can make arrests both with and without an arrest warrant. And it continues to say, while a warrant is generally required for arrest, certain situations allow arrest without
a warrant. Yes.
Good. So the Office of the Special Prosecutor doesn't necessarily need to have all the time.
But he has engaged in this repeatedly engaged in this behavior of inviting people and detaining them.
And in some instances, have recovered a certain amounts.
Yes.
So he is doing his job.
He is. And yet we want the right thing to be done.
Okay.
If you want to arrest people, let us have the warrants. So that we understand that, no, you cannot say the Ghana Police Service is allowed to arrest people without warrants all the time.
I'm not saying.
Yes, the law does not say that. The law does not say
but I got it
arrest
from here.
without the warrant all the time.
So, you see, notwithstanding that fact, whether the police can arrest with a warrant or not, I am referring you to what the law allows the Office of the Special Prosecutor to do. Because they are in special focus.
I'm coming.
Those powers, in my opinion,
yes,
are too arbitrary and they are too vast, honestly.
So then what we have to, or what you have to ask for is a change in the law.
Yes.
That's what you have to ask for.
I made that point.
Because this is what the law says. And so the Office of the Special Prosecutor at this point is not acting against the law. They are acting in accordance
with the mandate that Ghanaians have given
I made a point at the beginning by saying that
Okay.
the Office of the Special Prosecutor must go through some reformation. One of the major reformations that office must go through is that we must strip it of its powers of arrest, or we must require that when they exercise police powers, they must do so in respect of all of the necessary.
When you say this, the question out there will
then
be
just dissolve
why?
the whole office.
So that why should that be?
You don't want it to work.
Because recently, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has, as I'm trying to say, repeatedly engaged in the behavior of, oh, come and let's have a conversation. We are conducting an investigation. If you remember squarely, Paul Adom-Otchere put a video out because he knew very well he was going to be detained. He knew very well he was going to be arrested. He knew very well he was going to be kept there for some time. That has become
He also had every intention of sensationalizing the entire process.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor behaves. You understand? They invite you for a meeting and say, come and let's have a conversation. And before you know it, you've been arrested. It is prejudicial to the human rights of the Ghanaian people. Ghana is not designed to behave in that way. If a person is to be arrested, they must have some fair expectation of the arrest. They are going to be detained for a very long time. Their family and friends are going to be worried. They have business they need to conduct. And the detention can interfere in all of these matters. So if somebody is going to be arrested, the reason why an arrest warrant is even necessary in the first place is because the person can know that you are taken away by law. You understand? You are being taken away against your will, and it is because of these reasons. And so the Office of the Special Prosecutor conducting himself in the way of, come and let's have a conversation, and then before you know it, you are there for a week or 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, until you meet bail conditions, until somebody gives you a surety. No, that is not the way of the Ghanaian people, in my opinion.
In your opinion?
Yes.
I like that you added in your opinion.
Yes, because the opinion is not, it's not absolute. Look, listen, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is a specialized, independent body.
It has the
mandated to investigate, prosecute, and recover assets related to corruption, bribery, and other corruption-related offenses. The OSP is not subject to the direction or control of any person or authority in the performance of its functions.
Okay.
So it operates even outside the control of the Attorney General.
Isn't that scary to you?
If the Office of the Special Prosecutor...
Mama, when you see, she's making a point, let her land.
You see, may I allow him to land, though?
Please.
Are you? So in the performance of his duties, if he has not acted contrary to the law and contrary to the mandate that has been given to him by Ghanaians, then we really have no issue with it. I think in the case of Paul Adom-Otchere, you say he kept giving us per second updates on their channel. There was a deliberate attempt to create sensation around it and to further entrench the position they had consistently peddled that the special prosecutor was on a witch hunt. Why? Because he may have invited people that they are familiar with, people that they are close to. They are literally fighting a selfish battle. And so they put out a certain narrative out there that aims to make the person that will fight the so-called corrupt practices they've been accused of look bad in the eyes of the public.
All right.
So that what they are already judging the office of the special prosecutor.
Okay, no, let me.
How is he able to do his job if he's... Look, we have to always question corrupt practices in this country.
Let me ask you this.
If someone has been accused...
He has a point he's making, and his point is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, because of the powers that they hold, he feels is being abused, and so certain powers should be taken from them.
No, you have to give me evidence of the abuse. I have not seen evidence of
That's what he said.
I haven't
seen evidence of it.
That's, you said in your opinion, remember?
Yeah.
No.
In my opinion, I haven't seen... No, you have to give me evidence before I can agree that the special prosecutor is, witch hunting or acting outside his remit. As far as I'm concerned...
What more do you need?
What more do I need? The law. I've referred you to the law.
Yes.
And I've showed you that according to the law, he has not done anything untoward. He has not done anything wrong. You see, we say we want to fight corruption.
Right, your point.
Every time they want to fight corruption, then we are, we ourselves are literally pushing against it. So we are trying to arrive at a place where corruption becomes normal. And when we try to fight against corruption, people easily go out there and start screaming, witch hunting. Witch hunting for what? What you have done, is it right or is it wrong? But has it caused the state? Look, this company was given a contract that was supposed to pay it $100 million every year. $100 million every year, and it was not taken through due process. Just like that. You haven't wondered why Ghana's money should be paid without the right process, just to anyone at all. So anyone can sit in his office, make that decision. It wasn't even the board approval is under question. Why shouldn't it be investigated? This is $100 million US annually. For how long? People need to answer for it.
Thank you. Mahama?
The Ghana Airport Company Limited is an autonomous body, right? And that body has given a contract to another person to do quality assurance, and they have agreed on a price that is supposed to be paid between the two parties, right? How then is a former board chair picked up and made to answer questions in respect of a contract that was signed when he was board chair? Certainly it's a company. They have a current board chair. They have new directors. They have new management.
The current board chair was not there when they signed the contract.
I understand that, but the company was autonomous when the contract was signed. If I am appointed the CEO or something, board chair of Ghana Airport Company Limited, and I enter into a contract, I am not doing so in my personal capacity. Even though I will sign and write my name, I am not the one who is entering into the contract with the other party. It is the company as a whole that is entering into the contract. And so if for any reason there needs to be an audit conducted, if for any reason there need to be some type of investigation to understand what went into... So let me go off a tangent. I even saw the response from Manasseh saying something like you went to meet the people behind closed doors before you came to sign the contract. What has that got to do with the contract?
It may have influence giving them the contract.
You were not there. Okay. The board chair consistently would meet with people who are supposed to come and have contracts with...
Then you shouldn't be afraid to answer questions.
So if you and I were not in the room, then we cannot attest to what conversations... For all you know, they went to ask questions as to where they were supposed to go with the proper documentation.
So I ask...
We're not there.
So I ask you this. Special Office of the Special Prosecutor invites Paul. You and I were in there.
Yes.
So we don't know what they picked up from that conversation, which led to their arrest. Maybe something was said. And during what was said, it made Paul a suspect, hence the detention. You don't think that's right?
And it was signed under his time in office. There's absolutely nothing wrong with inviting him.
He is not the Ghana Airport Company Limited.
It's a person of interest.
Yes, I understand. But he is not the Ghana Airport Company Limited.
Answer the question I asked, please.
The fact that we're not in the room, yes, that is important. But the fact that the man was also granted bail tells you that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is supposed to invite people when they have conducted preliminary investigations and they have some type of, charge or leads to go off. So then they invite you, then they have a conversation with you to substantiate the charges and to see if there is the need for further investigation or even further prosecution, something of that sort. The conversation that was had led to a bail that required 2 landed properties. The news reported that Adom-Otchere did not even have 2 landed properties.
And the bill was varied later.
He had to come and, have people do surety for him and all that kind of stuff. it means that the conversation that happened over there vindicated Mr. Otchere, Mr. Adom-Otchere.
You cannot hold someone forever.
It allowed the Office of the Special Prosecutor at least to release him. If it was serious, if
what does the law say about when detention? If you detain somebody, wait, even if the person, depending on how dire the situation is, everybody's entitled to bail.
Of course.
And it doesn't acquit you. The fact that you've been bailed doesn't acquit you. So
yes,
what you're saying is as though because he's been bailed, he's been acquitted.
But the special prosecutor also picked up Mustafa Ahmed, and he was not given bail. Because when they had the conversation, information revealed from that meeting.
Exactly what I said. You and I don't know the extent of Paul's issue. Hence, he was granted bail.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to other people, I don't even want to say Mustafa Hamid, because Mustafa Hamid has also been granted bail. Now, when it comes to other people, you don't know the dexterity of theirs. Hence, they're being kept behind bars. So the fact that, and I want to say it again, the fact that somebody has been granted bail doesn't mean the person is not guilty.
I agree.
Yes.
And it is the decision of the special prosecutor ultimately to prosecute.
Exactly.
So we wait for the prosecution.
And yes, because they've let your people...
He's not my people. No.
He's actually...
You've been defending the way you've been defending them.
He's not my people.
Right.
I'm allowed to assume based on the spiritness.
I just want to see.
You've been very defensive of them. So
really?
Oh, yeah, you've been very defensive.
Oh, no.
You've not said anything in favor of the special prosecutor so far. Listen, and I like the point that she made that just because they bailed the person doesn't mean the person is innocent. The person has not been absolved of the crime that they are being accused of. I also understand that even the managing director is supposed to meet the special prosecutor today, Monday, to be asked some questions. Okay. By your reasoning, I can also argue that she is not a Ghana Airports company. So we cannot question her, right? The contract that was signed under Paul, when he was the board chair, if the contract seems fishy and questionable and causes the country to lose resources unduly, it is imperative that we ask the persons related to that particular incident to come and answer why this company was chosen. Because even before you make such a decision, the board has to agree. Now, if the board has given approval, we want to know why the board approved. Based on what information did they decide that this company was the right company to get that contract, a very juicy contract for that matter, especially when the company doesn't seem to even have only one worker.
And so
the company seems to have just one worker. So clearly, there's some suspicion of favoritism going on there and a clear breach of the procurement laws.
Okay.
So it's normal to invite the board chair at the time under who the contract was approved to come and answer simple questions. If you say you are not guilty, why are you afraid of answering questions? This is something I don't understand. If I was present when a crime was committed and you call me to come and answer, I would gladly come and give the information that I know. If it will lead to retrieval of funds, critical funds that have been lost to the country.
I would do it. There's a story here that is also saying that Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine has been accused of spearheading efforts that appear more focused on clearing certain politically connected individuals than on delivering justice. Legal observers and critiques argue that several questionable decisions and legal maneuvers have been contributed to the perception that the justice system is being used to shield rather than prosecute. And I believe one of these is connected to the recent case of Dr. What's his name again? Please help me out. Unibank, Dr. Kopnadofor. Dr. Kopnadofor. No, I was trying to get my producer to remind me. So Dr. Kopnadofor, where even minority has threatened a court action.
I think the law is up for tests at any point in time. The minority has threatened many things in the last few months. It'll be interesting to see them go through with it, especially for a government that became clearing agents right under our noses in the last few years. We all saw them discharge and acquit people anyhow, people who were accused, people, even when there was clear evidence. We had videos of people committing crime. They still acquitted them and let them go. So I think it is disingenuous for the same government to turn around. Maybe, they say butchers fear knives. So they are trying to accuse us of their crimes. I do not see the office of the Attorney General doing anything untoward. He held a whole press conference to explain himself. Look, a few years ago, the government was not that accountable to the people of Ghana. The Attorney General decided the people of Ghana need explanations. And when he makes a step, he comes out to explain clearly. And he has also explained to us that in this particular situation, it makes more sense for him to retrieve some amount of the money than nothing at all. And if he has found a way to do that, I think that we need to be more supportive.
So it's best
of the
to
Attorney
retrieve
General.
the money and acquit.
As far as the Attorney General is concerned, this is the right way to go. And I think that he has made a sound decision based on what has been presented to him. Do not also forget that these are persons who are running their own companies. These are not persons, it's very difficult to equate it to people who have directly caused the state to lose money. Because these are people who have committed a crime directly against the state. These persons did not come and steal money belonging to Ghana. They were working in their company, and then there were issues. The companies were dissolved based on certain monies that they even offered to retrieve. At the time, these companies had even offered to retrieve monies from contractors who were owing them more than what they were accused of requiring. And what happened? Government, people, you can argue, bias, or whatever their reasons were, just refused to allow them to do that and simply decided that the best way was to collapse them. That is also still under contention. I think the Attorney General has explained himself.
So Nyong, if this should happen to any of these persons that are, being accused under the NPP government, where they bring the money, should they be acquitted as well?
I think each case should be dealt with based on the information available and the peculiar crime. We cannot say that we are going to treat every case the same way as the other one. No, every case is different.
And should be treated differently. So if we are recovering, from
has
what...
he not recovered?
No, so what... that's what I'm saying, that from what the Attorney General is saying...
What did the previous government recover for us?
So the Attorney General says he has recovered 60%. Okay. Now, let's just say that any other person who has been arrested now is also able to give back about 60%. Should that person be acquitted?
That's why I'm saying it depends on the gravity of the crime. And I told you earlier that we cannot equate people who have deliberately caused the state to lose money to persons who were within their own companies. It was not a direct crime against the state. You see, so we cannot say that we are equalizing all of these, crimes and applying the same solution to all of them. I think that the Attorney General, in his knowledge of the law and his assessment of the situation before him, has made a decision and has retrieved over 60% for the state. I think it is commendable.
Okay, but then in the eyes of the ordinary Ghanaian, they might look at it in a different way, thinking that what the Attorney General has done is politically motivated. All right, so we have Sami Darko, who is the Director of Strategy, Research and Communications Division at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, joining us this morning. Good morning, Sami.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
I'm doing well too. Thank you so much for joining us on phone this morning. How I wish I could pull you into the studio, but it's all good that you still joined us on phone.
Yes, that's true. I just wanted to make a few clarifications.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so I heard that Paul was invited and we are arrested, or because he's been granted bail, it has implications. So let me just let our viewers understand.
Okay.
This investigation involved a number of people. So we have people, when you're doing an investigation, we have people we call suspects, and we have people we call persons of interest. So Ghanaians, there's a wide difference between the two. When a law enforcement agency says you are a suspect, it means that they have evidence that you have committed a crime. When they say you are a person of interest, it means you have information that will help them unravel the investigation. The letters that went to a number of people, the one that went to Paul, it went to him on Monday, and he was asked to report on Thursday. I said report, sorry, let me choose the word here. The letter went to him on Monday, and he was directed to attend to the office on Thursday. When we say you are directed to attend to the office, the letter will tell you also that you are a suspect in this investigation. So when we direct you, it's not like we have invited you. The two are not the same. Because when you are directed and you fail to come, it means that the law enforcement will use the necessary force to come and arrest you. So in essence, it's as if you have been asked to forcefully come. You cannot say, I will not come. Because if you say you will not come, it means they will come and pick you. So I just wanted to make that clarity that Paul was invited as a suspect and not as a person of interest.
All right.
And then two, when the law enforcement agency arrests you, they have 48 hours within which, we call it 2 nights, within which they can decide whether to grant you bail or not. It's at their discretion. So after 48 hours, they will have to necessarily present you before the law court, either to ask the court to continue to remand you or either to even press charges straight away. So when you are granted bail, it simply means that the law enforcement agency is respecting your liberty to be able to go home until they file charges. So if you take Paul, for instance, he has been granted bail, yet he's to report every Thursday at the offices of the OSP until charges are preferred. So when you are granted bail, it's not a victory, or it doesn't mean that you've won something. It simply means that the law enforcement agency is respecting your rights to be able to do other things, because the moment you are arrested, your liberties are curtailed somehow. And then there's another thing I want to clarify.
Please go ahead.
People keep mixing bail at a law enforcement agency and bail by a court. So I noticed someone referred to Mustafa Ahmed. So it's a different thing. When you are granted bail by a law enforcement agency, it means that you have not yet been put before the court. When you are put before the court, then the bail will be granted by the court. So if you take the Mustafa Ahmed case, he was on bail from the OSP. But when he was now placed before court for trial to start, he now went into the hands of the court. That's why the court had to grant him bail, because he's no longer under investigation, but now trial has started. So that's also a difference. So these are the clarifications I wanted to make.
Thank you so much. But if you can help us understand what happened, that there was a revision of his bail condition.
Yeah, there are certain matters it's hard for us to talk about because issues are under investigation. But if a suspect is not able to meet their bail conditions and they plead that those bail conditions should be revised so they can meet it, I think there is nothing strange with it. Remember, we are first a prosecutorial office and we are bound by almost all the ethics. So, for instance, I noticed that some people were criticizing the office. Why didn't the office keep the suspect for a long time? We cannot do that. The office is first a prosecutorial office and is bounded by so many codes of ethics and so many legal matters that we have to take into consideration. So for those who think that the office could have kept him more than 48 hours, that's legally not tenable.
Right.
And also, if a bill is revised, it's because the suspect himself has acknowledged that the bill terms that he is unable to make it, but then he's now providing alternatives that can still satisfy the reason for bail. The reason for bail is essentially that even if you decide not to cooperate and say you run away from the country, we can fall on your surety so that the state do not lose out.
Okay.
Because these are financial investigations. And then let people also understand that the OSP is a specialized anti-corruption agency. Anything we do what we call lifestyle audit in our investigation. So there are reasons why the OSP will say, bring property or bring that. Because in a way, we are also conducting a lifestyle audit on you to be sure whether your lawful income matches with the assets that you have. So when we set bill and people went out to say that the OSP is unreasonable and is setting bills saying that bring a house and blah, blah, no, we deal with politicians, politically exposed persons, their children, their wives, their husbands, their close friends, as well as people in the private sector. These are people of means. These are very powerful people. So when you literally say that, oh, OSP says that if you don't have a property, you can get a bill. If you don't have a property, you can get a bill. We deal with these matters on case-by-case basis. So it's hard for somebody who stole a good to appear before us. And we say, go and bring 2 lands that's in your name. Or show us 2 lands you have in Accra that's in your name. It will be very unreasonable for us to do that. When we start doing that, it means that we know some things that the public do not know.
Okay.
And these things are also part of our investigation.
So in a way, you knew that Paul had 2 landed properties. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when we are dealing with politicians, politically exposed persons, and then people in the private sector that they work with, we do have a bit of understanding of what we are doing with them because those investigations involve lifestyle audit as well. And people, when you come to the office, you will certainly be served what we call property and income form, where we are trying to trace your assets. So we may ask you, so for instance, I'm just using this as an example. We ask you, do you have houses? You say you don't. Now, when you are filling the form, and you also write that you don't have houses, what you are doing is that the law says that anything that you did not declare to us, if we are able to find out that you have them, they are automatically subject to forfeiture to the state. So all I'm trying to say is that when people say it's unreasonable, they are trying to also think as if we work like the police. But that's not, we don't work like that. We do lifestyle audit, and the people we deal with are people of means. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right. Makes sense. Okay.
So we have ways of doing things. And I'm saying that it's not everybody who we may say bring a landed property in Accra or in Ghana. There are some we will not. There are others we will.
Okay.
It's all subject to the way the investigation is being done and what's involved.
Okay. And so what do you have to say to people who say in the case of Paul Adom-Otchere is a witch hunt?
I think we've long gone over this, that there's nothing like witch hunt at the OSP. We are an independent body. We are professionals. If this was a witch hunt, or because people have said that he in the past has disrespected and said a lot of unpalatable things about the office and the chief occupant and staff, that's why he's being investigated. That would be false, because this investigation is started from SML investigation. You remember that we lawfully searched the property of SML and the rest. And some of these things came out of the search, some of the things we discovered.
Okay.
So it's not that somebody is witch hunting anybody. And if it was a witch hunt, he has said a number of things or done a number of things in the past that the OSP could have arrested him. But we never did that, because a lot of things he had done, in law, we could consider it as obstruction of justice. And there have been issues in the past that have been mentioned, and you saw the OSP never going into it. We only go into a matter when we are convinced or we have sufficient evidence that you've done something. That's when we will come in. And when we come in, you obviously will know that people also ought to defend themselves. So they will say all manner of things. Of course, if you and I have had, say, issues in the past, but you've committed an offense, it's a suggestion that because you've committed an offense and because me and you have had issues, say, in the past, it means that we should not look into it, because then people are going to say that I'm investigating you because you insulted me in the past. That's not how to build a country.
Right.
What you can do is to check whether the people are being professional or not. Paul is not the only person who has been arrested by the OSP.
Can you let us know if it's true, Sammy, can you let us know if it's true that the Ghana Airport's MD is to report to the Office of the Special Prosecutor today?
We do not like to tell people about who is coming to office or who is not. If you remember, for Paul Adom-Otchere, he's the one who came out and invited people.
Okay.
What I do know is that, yes, the MD will appear before the office this week.
Okay.
But I'll not be able to tell you whether it's Monday or Thursday.
All right. Thank you so much, Sami, for joining us this morning. We are grateful.
Thank you also.
All right, and that's Sami Dako, who joined us from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So, Mahama.
Something, sorry, okay, before you, when in the cases of corruption and high crime, the bail is usually set synonymous with the gravity of the crime.
Yes.
So if you find that someone is being asked a bail that you think is exorbitant, it's because of the gravity of the crime that they have committed. And according to the law, you are always allowed to request to vary the terms of the bill. That's just like what Paul Adom-Otchere did. It's the same thing that Wontumi also did. Your lawyer can request a varying of the terms of the bill. And if they accept it, you pay the new bill that has been set for you. It is nothing, it's not cast in stone. It is a simple process to get the right information that enables the authorities to prosecute the crime that they're dealing with.
All right. Mahama, you wanted to say something?
Yes.
But before then, I just want you to know that you can keep your messages coming in on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. They know that I'm, trust me, all right?
So the lady Nuong, Honorable.
Amen to it.
No, we both say it.
According to the will of God.
Right. She mentioned before we received the Honorable Director that, due diligence should have been conducted into the payments that were supposed to be going into the company. Due diligence is not the strict reserve of the board chair. And the board constitutes multiple people except just the chair. Usually, to my knowledge and understanding,
I like that you clear that all the time.
Yes. Company law perhaps is shallow. Perhaps my knowledge is shallow, but company law requires that board approvals and these kinds of things, they're supposed to be done at the board. We don't know how many people sit at the board for the GACL. We don't know who voted. We don't know what they voted. We don't know how they voted, And so the fact that the board had approved it is not in the strict reserve of the board chair. But I think enough has been said about this issue. And honestly, I'm waiting to see what the special prosecutor's next action is going to be.
Right.
I think this issue has also been overblown, honestly. He's not the first person that has been invited by the OSP.
We even went into the Attorney General issue as well, because we don't want it to look like this is the only conversation on the table, because the Attorney General has also invited a few people. We are
even in this particular case, it's not only Paul that is being invited. Paul is the only suspect that has come out there to turn it into a circus.
So just like we heard, Sami say, even the MD is supposed to appear, but as to when they won't let us know. And so let's take a few messages that have come in. Those of you who have sent your messages, we know you're waiting for me to read the messages, so let me quickly read all your messages, okay? And so, a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Of course, with Franco Trading Enterprise, you can trust that all your gadgets will be solved. So make sure you download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app, and you can purchase your item at your own convenience. For further inquiries, visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still. And we are discussing so much this morning, so I'll start with this one. Aon Garib from Tamale says, good morning, Rosalind. The Office of the Special Prosecutor and some government appointees are witch-hunting the previous government officials rather than following due process and questions. And the questions I've been asking myself in this case is if the table should 10 who are supporting the arbitrary arrest of the previous appointees. Hey, sometimes your English, help me small, okay? Thank you so much. Good morning, Rosalind. Indeed, what kind of corruption is the OSP office trying to fight with this time-wasting venture? Why should people alleged to be engaged in corruption be invited and detained if they can't if they have been convicted. Again, why should bail conditions be used to frustrate people being arrested? This is unacceptable and disrespectful, to say the least. In conclusion, the office of the special prosecutor should be discarded with the witch hand tactics as if they are fighting corruption. Abdullahi Razak. Okay, thank you so much. Good morning. Host JM is right. The conflict in Boko is deliberated and politically motivated because Boko was peaceful until NPP government appointed a rival chief. I'm not going to continue reading this because today we...
Get ready. Ghana, the zonals competition of the Energy Commission Senior High School's Renewable Energy Challenge is here. Join us at the College of Engineering Auditorium, KNUST, on 9th and 11th August 2025 as brilliant young minds battle it out for a place in the national finals. Competing for the Southern Zone are Resac Legon, Presbyterian Senior High School, Latte, Bueman Senior High School, Adidome Senior High School, Asin Mansu Senior High Technical School, Ahantaman Girls Senior High School, Bia Senior High Technical School, and Opokuwari School. The Northern Zone schools take their turn on 11th August with Olago Senior High School, Sunyame Senior High School, Kintampo Senior High School, Damango Senior High School, Dabupa Technical Institute, Walewale Senior High Technical School, and Bolgatanga Senior High School. Who will advance to the finals? Who will be crowned Ghana's next clean energy champions? Catch the action live on Joy News at 9 a.m. Brought to you by the Energy Commission with support from GIZ, Ashesi University, Volta River Authority, Greenfield Ambassador, and Star Oil. Media partner, Joy News.
While sports take a break, there's no better time to jump into the thrill of virtual gaming. Roll, tap, spin, and be a part of exciting journey. 1x Games, where luck never takes a break.
1 billionaire, 3 secret families.
Who are those people?
They're Daddy's third family.
Polygamous at heart, but the man always has the love of his life.
That Lily thinks that she has won. Well, I'm sorry because she's mistaken. She may have won the battle, but she has not won the war.
I'll not let them beat me.
That's the spirit, girl.
Yeah. Don't ask me not to love him because I can't do that.
Think it's true.
The guy is already confused. He is a security expert or what? No, he is an activist. Okay? So he says that he should go to court and stop confusing himself, but we, your viewers, refuse to be confused by this gentleman. We are building Ghana and not a political party. He's even challenging the constitution. What? He should mute himself if he has nothing constitutional to add to such a great program. Is he talking law or emotions? Hey, and yeah, as I'm not critical. Good morning, beautiful. Please, I want to ask Mr. Mahama a simple question, which is if the board chairman, Mr. Paul, shouldn't have been invited because it is company. Mr. Mahama, are you telling Ghanaians that the cleaner in the company couldn't have been invited and not Paul? It's a company and he was the boss and he must answer questions. Master Rahman, Tuna Sola. Pardon? Okay, so what I'll say to you this morning might be that you should do more research into some of these things because what happens behind the scenes, you and I don't know. You know what I mean? With regards to this particular contract, OSP will not pick Paul as a suspect if they didn't know something. So until acquitted by the courts.
Defending them. I'm just saying, due process has not been.
Okay.
Spirited defense. Paul will be proud of you.
Process. The special prosecutor should stop weaponizing his office to settle personal scores. He's an incompetent. Hey, Nana, this is too deep. some of the messages, when they come in, I struggle to read them. Good morning. Pay 30 Ghana cedis to GTV. You say you won't pay. You want luxurious DSTV, a profit-making private company. You want to decide prices for them. We like to make foreign companies richer than our own. Support GTV, fund GTV, and they will provide even better services than DSTV. GTV has more reach and stable network than any TV station in Ghana. Please, multimedia, we also have the multimedia we have. So support us, okay? All right, so let me see. Yeah, I have messages. So good morning, Hajia Roslyn, and your respected panelists listening to Mahama just confusing himself and we the listeners with his self-centered opinion, but not the law. The OSP law didn't write by a political party, but lawyers of reputation. Karim Starboy. I'll do just one last one.
Sending messages.
Good morning to you all, especially the NDC rep, OSP and AG are working for Ghanaians. So please, let's allow them to do their work. The interference. Hey, wow. The interference is too much. It's a process, not overnight job. Corruption is a canker. Taxpayers' money are misused. Civil rights are not being fair to innocent citizens. What is their main agenda? They should come clear. Officers are stealing from state of coffers without any investigation from Big G, Tamale Central. All right, thank you so much. Good morning, Roslyn. Okay, I'm done.
This matter has taken all the time.
Yes, this matter has taken all the Anyway, so before we go, I'll have to take your final say or final take on this conversation. So, Nguyen, let me start with you.
I think that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Attorney General, they are doing an incredible job. There are a lot of corrupt practices that have gone on that we cannot allow ourselves to normalize. Corruption should not be normalized in this country. And persons who have deliberately stolen funds, misappropriated funds, and caused Ghana to lose money ought to answer. And I think it's unfair that we continue to interfere with every little process that they try to do. Don't forget, they are not working for themselves. It's not a private enterprise. They are working for this country. They are working for you and I.
All right. Thank you so much. Mahama?
Well, I would like to make my last thoughts on this quite brief, having heard the scathing reviews from the audience. But I would just say that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, there's work to be done.
Right.
There is a lot of work to be done. I think that in the new government, we should look at reforming the Office of the Special Prosecutor so that it is more effective and so that it delivers on its mandate more timeously. Yeah. Okay,
great. Let's talk briefly about DSTV before we go. DSTV versus, is it Ghanaians or Minister of Communications? What do you think about it, Nguyen?
I think it's more with Ghanaians because I've listened to the Minister for Communications, Honorable Sam George, who has, and you see the kind of response he has gotten from Ghanaians is very telling. A lot of people are agreeing with him. I think he's just trying to protect Ghanaians from what he thinks is exorbitant pricing, right? Predatory pricing. I initially was even a little sympathetic. Then I found out that as of April, when the CD was appreciating, DSTV had actually increased their prices as at that time. I think that this can easily be solved by going back to the discussion board. DSTV needs to be more forthcoming. I mean, the minister hasn't stated exactly by what percentage he wants them to reduce prices, right? So they can make an offer, they can negotiate, and then see the best way forward. I believe they made an offer of not repatriating profits, which I don't think solves the problem. If Ghanaians say that they are being priced exorbitantly. And he even brings in other countries and makes a comparison, which shows us that in other countries, Ghana is the one that is charging the highest. What accounts for this? Why are you charging Ghanaians, the same company, charging Ghanaians more than you charge other countries?
All right.
We need to understand. And if there is a role government can play in helping to reduce it,
it should be done.
Has brought the conversation. Sit down with government.
Ahama?
So, perhaps I need to bring this information to your attention. The Honourable Minister has asked for a 30% reduction in the prices of these things. I say that the bundle prices being fixed at their current rates were not done so arbitrarily, right? DSTV and MultiChoice obviously had some process that they had to go through before these prices were set. Sometimes it could even go so far as to say that the geographical location of the country can, I don't know, it's not a very solid reason, and that is not what MultiChoice has said. But even where Ghana is situated can cause the subscription for the bundle prices to increase in comparison to Nigeria. But I don't like the fact that the Honorable, like I said, I'm not saying that. The Honorable Minister consistently compares the prices of DSTV in Ghana to Nigeria. I don't believe that...
He actually posted other countries.
Well, but he consistently says, Nigeria pays this, Ghana pays this. Nigeria pays this, Ghana pays this. I don't like this consistent comparison. I would prefer for him to do a more in-depth analysis. I also think that the Honorable Minister it is a good initiative, what he's trying to introduce, but the threat of suspending licenses on 7th August, in my opinion, excuse me, is too hostile. I don't believe that, well, the Honorable Sam George has been in opposition for 8 years, and perhaps he's used to that oppositionary dialogue, right? He's now a member of government, and so he will see more negotiations of this nature to come. If he takes this very hostile tone towards every single company that he's supposed to negotiate with, I don't believe he will see much success. So, yes, maybe suspending the license because what happens when you suspend the license on August 7th? We've been watching DSTV for some time now. The Ghanaian people may also want to explore cheaper options. For example, GoTV, which is MultiChoice's value-focused bundle package, right? So it's not as if they are, it's just exclusively DSTV. There are other service providers as well under MultiChoice where you can still enjoy the service at a cheaper price.
Joy Prime. You can watch
the
us.
The minister makes it clear that he's been engaging with them. It's not like this was out of the vacuum. And so far, the offers that they have made do not meet the request, right? And when he says 30%, look, if the minister says 30% and DSTV comes genuinely...
We can't do it.
So far, they've not even agreed to reduce by 1%.
1% at all,
if
yes.
If they had actually come with something, then it makes more sense. And also, in the case of Nigeria, I think he keeps referencing Nigeria because they have also had similar issues.
But
the
they
point
sued.
where the House of Reps even stepped
Yes, but this it wasn't just a demand.
Unfortunately, we have to go now. We have to go now.
But I just want to say, I mean, GTV is there.
Oh, Joy Prime is there.
Joy Prime is there. If it's too much for you, watch Joy Prime. Watch GTV. Watch TV. Watch all the local channels.
Our content is good. So today, as we started, Prime Morning, we have changes that will come your way at 1 p.m. And then we have telenovelas for you. We have so much. So listen, it's a buffet. We are serving you. Don't go and pay DSTV if you can't afford it. We are there for you. Just watch us.
Acapulco Bay and all those. It wasn't DSTV that brought you that.
So anyway, watch Ghanaian television. We give you the best of content. So thank you so much for tuning in. A big thank you to you, Mahama Jinapor, for joining us. And he is a youth and civil activist. And he spoke about why the Office of the Special Prosecutor should operate in different ways rather than the way they are operating. And Wong Falong, who is a part of the communications team for the NDC. Thank you all so much for joining us.
It's actually my first time on Joy Prime.
Yeah, so you should be coming often. I hope you enjoyed it, though.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
All right.
Yeah.
And you too, is your first time.
It is.
So
I see.
Yes, quite an experience.